Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Belal Muhammad, I think, is finally starting to get a bit of recognition and love that he deserves, being your welterweight champion. You know, if you reflect back and look at his resume, he has put together a really really nice run of fights. Has some great names under his belt, and to be totally honest with you, the way he beat Leon Edwards, again, like I said, when everyone was overlooking him, counting him out, was nothing short of inspiring. But at the end of the day, styles make fights, and at UFC 315, he will have to defend that welterweight championship against Della Maddalena, JDM. Now, guys, I know JDM has been out for a year and a half. It's a very, very long layoff to be coming into not only the biggest opportunity of your career, but the most high stakes, the highest pressure situation that Jack Della Maddalena has ever had to go into. And doing that coming off the couch, relatively speaking, he's obviously going to have a big, long training camp, but there's something to be said about the freshness of fighting multiple times a year and coming off that momentum, that streak. That momentum in a fighter sometimes can be halted by that time off and time away from the game, dealing with the injuries. So there are many, many questions to be asked about how Jack Della Maddalena is going to return. But like I spoke about, styles make fights, and the level of boxing that JDM brings, especially into that pocket range, how good he is at finding the body, mixing up the targets, just pouring so well with that lead hand, finding slip counters off the rear hand. And another thing he does so well is extends the combination. Like you see a lot in the UFC, someone slip counter, land one shot, reset, go again. Jack Della Maddalena does such a good job of slip counter 2-3-4. Like, he extends that combination, which forces the opponent to stay under the fire, and it causes these guys to wilt, man. Like, his style, the way he is able to not only keep that pressure rolling on the feet, but scramble from underneath. Like, there are a lot of moments in that Gilbert Burns fight where, he looked out of it and he could have quit, taken the decision loss, but the finish in itself shows you. I know a lot of people are writing that finish off, calling Gilbert Burns washed or old or something, but Gilbert Burns is a very, very skilled fighter. And for JDM to not only reverse the position on the ground, keep the fight moving, but then find that knee, it just goes to show you his instincts are very, very well trained and just organically there. Like, he sees a lot in there that I think a lot of elite fighters don't, especially in those striking ranges. Clearly trusts his power. And yes, he's going to have to defend a lot of takedowns in this fight. Belal Muhammad does such a great job of pushing his own pace, making you work in the ranges that you're not most comfortable in. So I think this is a really, really intriguing matchup, and I think it can be a really, really competitive fight for as long as it lasts as well. Obviously, in the finishing instincts, you have to give the edge there to JDM. But that being said, Belal Muhammad has finished Sean Brady, who was looking unstoppable now. So really just goes to show you styles make fights. I know JDM, with that long layoff coming in, is going to be a rightful underdog, and I think he should be, based on Belal Muhammad, what he's been doing, and that momentum and that streak that he's riding. So don't get me wrong, I'm not putting any shade on Belal Muhammad's name here. I'm just looking into the stylistic matchup and seeing a lot of ranges where JDM can have success. Like I talked about with that lead hand pouring, his feints, he does such a good job of getting you uncomfortable. Like, you see these guys almost like a bit of a deer in headlights on the end of his range, on the end of his lead hand. adds in nice roundhouses and stuff as well. But obviously what brings him to the dance is that pocket boxing, hooks, straights, pull counters, slip counters, like I said, beautiful body work. His game is centralized around that and has lots of really nice tools as well, to keep the fight in those ranges. And I think he's a underrated grappler too. Like, for him to stay safe on the ground for as long as it's spent against Gilbert Burns, someone who is a very, very high level black belt, and like I said, to reverse some of those positions, yeah, it's going to be a really, really intriguing fight. I would love to hear what you guys have to think about this one. And if you think that JDM has a shot, if you think this is going to be a competitive matchup. Obviously, everyone has a puncher's chance, but yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people writing JDM off in this one. And like I said, Belal Muhammad deserves that respect, but yeah, this is going to be a really, really good fight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would really, really appreciate that. And we will chat soon.